You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Maron After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Maron After Show.
Hey there, Maron fans. What's going on? You know where you are. AFTERBUZZ TV, the Maron After Show, Season 2, Episode 4, The Mom Situation. I'm Matt Lieberman. Joining me, of course, Jessie Klein's here.
Hey, how's it going?
JB Zimmerman's here.
How do?
Steve Kaufman, unfortunately, not here this evening.
Very
we
sad.
miss him. He'll be back next week.
Right.
Before we get started, though, you know, those of you who watch or listen to a lot of AFTERBUZZ TV podcasts, or even just this one, you're probably aware of our founder, Maria Menounos. She has a fantastic new book out called The Every Girl's Guide to Fitness, and I just want to toss it to Maria.
Hey guys, Maria Menounos here, and I want to share my newest book, The Every Girl's Guide to Diet and Fitness, with you. Basically, every woman always stops me and asks me how I lost 40 pounds, so I decided to put it all in one book. Everything I did to lose 40 pounds step by step, and how you can too, is in here. I did it with no time, no money, and no willpower, and now I'm going to show you how to do it too. You can pre-order it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart, wherever books are sold, and it's out June 3rd. So I hope you guys love it. I hope it helps you in your weight loss journey, and please, please tweet me and update me on your progress at Maria Menounos. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Maria, for telling everyone about that book. We hope, you know, if you're interested in that, you go out, you buy it, support the show. You know, anytime that you pay for something that's going on with Maria Menounos, obviously it's coming back to us. It's helping us continue to make all this great free content. So thank you for paying attention, and I hope you enjoy the book. So,
absolutely,
guys, another great episode of Maron, a bit quieter this week.
Yeah.
But I think that was necessary, and I appreciate when a show is willing to change up its tempo. You know, we've got this relationship with Marc and his mother, who we haven't seen since season 1, Sally Kellerman, who does a great episode of WTF. If you haven't listened to it, it's somewhere in like the early 400s. It's like 430 something. Okay. I don't know. But big milestone this week.
Huge. Yeah,
Marc Maron released his 500th episode of WTF with Marc Maron, which JB has listened to and he loved. And who all was on it? It was Steve Brill.
Yeah, Steve Brill is the main guy who they go back, obviously, decades. And then he sort of gets a little sentimental and calls up his dad and his mom. So they both have a shorter, but it's nice. It's touching moments.
Yeah, and like
for sure.
Curious timing, as you know, we have this this episode with his mother in the same week that he interviews his mother on the podcast. And I'm very, very curious to listen to that and see what that's like.
Yeah, I mean, it connects not a lot, as we'll see as we discuss.
Right. So, you know, Marc is not on great terms with his parents. His dad is, you know, kind of an a-hole, a big one, and we saw a bit of that last season, and his mom has decided that she's coming to stay for a week, unannounced, because she wants to spend some time with her son. She's been lonely, and there's been no real way to communicate that to him because he refuses to communicate with her. Yeah. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it was interesting that the episode after he loses his girlfriend is the one that he has a mother episode with, because I feel like she fills the same space in his life that he was lacking with his girlfriend. Like, you know, his girlfriend was too childish for him, and his mom is also very childish. So it feels like the same energy he gets off of her.
Right. She's childish, but so is he. I mean, I feel like she brings out the worst in him, even more so than Jen.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I don't know about you guys. I don't think my relationship with my family is perfect. And as a Hebrew podcaster, in fact, this brought out a lot of emotions for me, just because, I don't know, as I get older, I've been receding further and further from my parents and communicating less and less, because I just came to realize that no matter what the subject was, no matter what I was bringing up, if I brought it to my parents, they would give me an answer that was disappointing. There was never going to be enough support or enough like grounded clarity in what they had to say, no matter what the issue was. If I called them and asked them about something that I was thinking about doing, they would shut it down, and that was my way of avoiding doing the risky things that could potentially pay off in a better life. You know, whether it be socially or in comedy or in work or whatever it was, you know, they would project their fears onto me and I would accept it as gospel. And I don't know how Marc's relationship with his family, you know, fell apart. I have to imagine that the drugs in his 20s and 30s probably had a nice portion of that, you know, paying into it. But it just kind of gives me pause because, you know, you want to figure out how to communicate with your parents, how to have that relationship with them in a healthy way when you're changing and you're starting to make the same mistakes that they might have made. You're realizing how flawed they are as people as you continue to realize how flawed you are.
Yeah. That for me, I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but when he's talking to Rob Riggle and he says you're too well adjusted for comedy, I kind of have that fear all the time.
That you're too well adjusted?
Yeah. I myself am a crazy man, but my parents are great. Like, they're the best parents. Like, they're just super supportive. And like anything I do, they're like, hey, if you're gonna take a chance, take a chance. You only get to do it once.
God, you're a Riggle.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
No, well, I'm crazy. Like, I'm not adjusted.
Oh, I know you.
But yeah, you know me.
Yeah.
But you're
the bad boy of indie comedy.
I can't help it, folks. Yeah. But my parents have always been really great and supportive. So I always kind of have that fear where it's like every comedian I love and respect has like these horror stories about their parents or like growing up.
Or just some kind of darkness in them.
Yeah. I guess my darkness is all self-induced. So I don't have like these shared experiences that all of my favorite comedians and like people I like I can't really bond over that.
Do you ever feel like because you lack that darkness or lack that complication that you can't be as funny? I feel like that's a fear I used to have.
I feel like I have to find comedy through other means. Like, because I don't have like all of this like life experience of like being disappointed by parents or like having drug issues with parents or any of that kind of stuff, that like my comedy kind of has to come from a different place, like a more fantastic place.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, I feel like comedy doesn't necessarily the way that they describe that inspiration is not necessarily that their parents are a problem, but just problems in general.
Yeah.
It stems from the sadness and the problems in your life.
Yeah. Well, what about you, JB? What's your relationship like with your parents?
I mean, my mom is the best. I'm a big fan. So I definitely don't have that issue as well. But I mean, I feel like a lot of people sort of put their parents on a pedestal, like you were saying. They, you know, and that's where a lot of these problems come about when they realize.
When you're young.
Well, you know, exactly. Like when you're young,
you think they're infallible.
Exactly. And then as you get older, you sort of realize that hey, they're real people too. So, you know, it's sort of that realization that they do have flaws and can and should, because they are real people. You sort of like the illusion of them being parents and sort of how they can help you and how you get your independence from that is sort of, you know, an age turning event.
Yeah. See, I feel like I had a reverse experience where I did not like that my parents were gods, and did not feel comfortable with the idea of having like these deities that I lived with. And as soon as I became a teenager and they started becoming real people was when I actually started bonding with them. Like beforehand, like I feel like I didn't have a relationship with my dad until I was able to talk basketball with him. Yeah. And then I was able to like have a relationship with him. But before that, when he was just like this deity that would just come home and be like, I got you a toy. I'd be like, I don't know how to deal with this.
Say thank you. Yeah. Say thank you, you ass.
Nope.
And enjoy the toy.
I refuse.
Yeah. But it's interesting, your point, JB, because I'm looking at Marc's relationship with his parents, at least on the show, and it seems like he's still in the phase of being disappointed that they are real people and that they are flawed, and he hasn't. This episode, in many ways, by the end of it, is him coming to terms with the fact that they're real people and that's okay, and that he can talk to them like anyone else.
Yeah.
And that's really what I loved about this episode.
Yeah, early on finding out that his mom has had multiple boob jobs.
Right.
Yeah, and he was like, another lie I grew up with.
Yeah, which is like, terrifying. I don't know if any of your parents have had any physical changes via a doctor. Mine have not.
No.
But it would. I don't know. I don't know if it would bother me if my mom had a boob job. I feel like if it was something that she wanted, it's just nothing that my mom would want.
Yeah,
she just
it's real
doesn't
out of
really care
character.
about that. Yeah, it's not a Lieberman trait. I feel like I'm the only Lieberman with extreme vanity.
What's a Lieberman trait?
Well, I'll tell you.
Okay.
A Lieberman
Please,
trait,
enlighten us.
you appreciate a good meal.
This is on the crest.
Yeah, you appreciate a good meal, but you also want to know what's going on with everyone else. There's a very kind of busybody attitude. Food especially. Like my dad's side of the family, and that is the Lieberman side, as it were. They relate to each other through asking what you had to eat earlier that day, and then conversation kind of spawns from there. Because I don't have sports with my dad.
Yeah.
I have what I had for lunch, which now that he's like a health nut is always greatly disappointing. And he'll like ask me what movies are coming out this weekend, and I'll tell him, and he'll be like, okay, and then he'll get off the phone. It's not that kind of a relationship.
Okay.
But in any case, Marc's mom comes to stay, and Kyle comes out with these beautiful watermelon agua fresca. Don't say it like that.
Agua fresca.
Don't say it like that.
Agua fresca.
Agua fresca.
Agua fresca.
Yes.
Come on, JB.
I'm not gonna do it.
You
not
want
gonna do
to
it.
so bad,
JB
JB.
Zimmerman, when you are in need of refreshment,
Agua fresca.
have an agua fresca.
Agua fresca.
Yeah.
Nope, no cruises for me.
Wow.
No mixologist named Dax.
Yeah.
I pass. Pass
Is that
on
short for something? Daxter.
No, Daxter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Daxamillion.
Well, when Dax Shepard
Daximus.
became a thing without a paddle, that was the first time.
Was that his first thing?
Well, it was the.
I thought
no.
it was Punked, right?
He was
Is
punked
that-
before that, but I never watched Punked.
Okay.
So that was the first time he had broken through the collective consciousness, and that was the first Dax I'd ever come across. And I'm like, are you a video game character?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I think of Jack and Daxter whenever I think of a Dax. But in any case, Marc's mom has had kind of a lonely year and perhaps a lonely existence since her divorce from Marc's father years earlier. And she went on this cruise to kind of find herself and let loose. And, maybe she had some sex with some partners. But you know what? That's what menopause does. It gives you the freedom to go and do and be. Because there ain't no more kids coming.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, you are the expert in that.
I am the expert on menopause because I wrote the book.
You wrote the book on menopause?
Yes.
Books? I
what's
thought
that-
it was a trilogy.
What's
was it
that?
not?
What's the first book called in the menopause?
It's called The Every Jew's Guide to Menopause.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
important.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
Yes.
isn't it?
It's available now at only Barnes & Noble locations.
Only Barnes and Noble.
Only Barnes & Noble physical locations. You can't get it on the website. You can't get it on Amazon.
Is it just
It's a
one
brick and
Barnes
mortar
and Noble?
store only.
There is a brick and mortar Barnes & Noble
Sure.
just outside of Louisville, Kentucky that does carry The Every Jew's Guide to Menopause.
I know
Nice.
what you're talking about. That's a good one.
It's a very nice store.
I haven't
good-
been, but I've heard good things.
It's a
well-
good B&K, man.
Okay, but yeah. Let me tell you something. The construction was
B&N.
arduous.
B&K.
B&K?
I believe it's B&N.
It's B&N.
isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
B&N, pal.
B&N.
Yeah.
Noble.
The
It's cool.
construction was arduous. In the fall of 2004, 4 large trucks bearing my book descended upon an abandoned Louisville office depot, and it was quickly converted into one of the largest and finest Barnes and Nobles ever to be seen.
A noble Barnes and Noble.
A noble Barnes and Noble.
So,
So, Marc's mom wants to go out. She says she wants to see the sights, but at the same time, she wants to see what Marc actually does. And as we've seen, Marc doesn't do a whole hell of a lot. He gets coffee. He goes home and he's disappointed. He sits with the cats. He feeds them. He does the podcast. What else does he do? Maybe he does stand up from time to time. Goes touring. But he doesn't really want to include her in his life. He doesn't want to have a real conversation. It seems like it's been years since he has, even though he's able to have these, you know, very raw conversations with strangers. Having a conversation with someone that knows him so well and knows all of his personal history, where he has to actually tell them what's really going on and how he really feels, not, you know, anecdotes or you know, little bits and pieces from the past. It's hard. And it's hard to reveal your true self to your parents because they have an idea of who you are. I don't know. I can't imagine. I had like one conversation with my mother where like we talked about marijuana, frankly, because, you know, she did back in the day. It was a flower child, Washington, D.C. You go and you do theater scene, whatever. And like to see my mom talk about marijuana with like a smile on her face and not in like a judging way was kind of mind-blowing.
Sure.
Because for an instant, she's not mom, she's just a person. And I feel like doesn't that get easier as you get older, as you become, you know, 40, 50 years old, or, you know, and they're like in their 60s and 70s, don't they just become more like just people?
I assume yes. I mean, as I've gotten older, it's gotten easier. I mean, there's more stuff going on, and we can talk about work. There's more things you can relate to. As Rob Riggle was saying, you know, now that he has kids, they can relate on that level as well. So, I mean, obviously, when you're a kid, it's what they are, sort of demigods, as it were. Like what they say goes. So when you kind of get your own independence, you ask them more as a guide or just advice. Yeah, and it's no longer, this is what you should do. It's, this is what I would do, or this is what I have done, and it's sort of take it or leave it.
Although on the same note, they kind of have an idea. Like when you're a kid, there's no kind of like idea for what a kid should be. A kid is just chaos in a dirty sweater. Where like
they bought
that day, and it's already got, you didn't have spaghetti, but somehow there's spaghetti sauce
everywhere
on that sweater.
Land's End, god damn you.
Yeah. Osh, kosh, boogash.
Am I right?
But I feel like as you're an adult, like your parents kind of have an idea of what an adult is. Like it isn't chaos. Like it's like, you should be making this amount of money now. You should be working this many hours. You should, at your age, your grandfather had owned 3 houses and had 4 children.
What happened to the first 2 houses?
And 5 tornadoes.
Had owned 3
tornadoes.
Tornadoes?
Yeah,
a
tornado got all of them. My grandfather lived in Tornado Alley.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's the
first mistake.
Yeah,
right
don't build
in Tornado Alley.
Yeah, it's a bad idea. But like, so like they have an idea of like what an adult should be. So like if you aren't an adult, if you're a comedian, which is basically a child in adult's clothing, it's different for them. So like they don't have the same contextual clues as like you would have for them.
Sure. I really hope that someday you date a woman named Sadie who's just a big ball of crazy, so I can call her Tornado Sadie. That's just a personal wish.
I hope that as well.
Yeah. So
anyone out there named Sadie, please contact me.
Please contact Jessie Klein, bad boy of indie comedy. So
hello.
We meet another one of Marc's friends, comedian Dave Anthony, guest stars on the show as himself. They go out and they get coffee, and you know, Dave he portrays himself as kind of a schmuck.
He's a monster.
Yeah, he's a monster. He goes around, he tells coffee girls that his name is Ivan because he doesn't want them to get too attached, but he also is trying to bang every coffee woman that there is. And it reminds me of that internet comedy video that went around recently that was like, baristas are the new male fantasy, which I totally understand.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, they make your order exactly how you want it.
I see them every morning.
Yeah, they're there for you whenever you need them, and
they know your name too.
Yeah,
so.
They bring you something nice and hot or cool and refreshing just when you want it, and they're quirky and approachable, but also unreachable and unknowable.
Well, that desk that separates you.
If there's a barista named Sadie out there, please contact me.
Dream come true.
Tornado Sadie. So Dave Anthony has a similar problem to Marc in that his dad has moved in with him.
Yes.
And he just hates his father. And, you know, even though he is a bit of a monster, at the time, we think, oh, man, maybe his dad is just as bad as Marc's dad because they're friends, so that kind of, like, makes sense or whatever. And Marc has the brilliant plan, like, hey, man, you know, I don't want to have to spend time alone with my mother. You bring your dad over, they'll have someone to talk to, and then we can kind of avoid connecting for an evening. You know, we'll grill some T-bones and that'll happen. So, you know, Dave brings his dad over, and he's played by that wonderful, delightful actor who I cannot name, who always reminds me of Wilford Brimley.
He's not Wilford
but is
Brimley.
firmly not Wilford Brimley.
No.
You know,
Office Space. He's
Yeah,
in
loved him in
Office
Office Space. I was
Space?
gonna say.
Office Space,
right.
Jump to conclusions.
If we say
Matt.
Office Space enough times, it'll be as if we actually remembered his name. Office Space?
Office Space.
Office Space.
I'm gonna call him Zachary.
Okay.
He doesn't look like a
He
Zachary.
does not look like a Zachary in the
pretty sure
least
his name
bit.
is
There's
not
no one
Zach.
under the age of 60 or over the age
Over
of
the
60.
age of 60 whose name is Zachary.
Except
But what
for
about
former president.
Zachary Tyler.
Yeah. Terrible president.
Yeah. Really?
He wasn't great.
He's not great. My third grade teacher, incidentally, descendant of Zachary Tyler.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fun facts. Good stuff.
Fancy that. So, you know, Marc's mom and Dave's dad connect over hating their son's comedy and wishing that they would actually write jokes or do impressions or do something other than talk about how miserable their lives are. And, you know, they kind of spawn this connection. Hey, man, they're having fun. And at that age, it's not often you get to have fun with strangers, I think. I think you've kind of set your people.
Yeah.
By and large. And so they had such a good time. They go off and they get ice cream in Dave's car. Marc drives Dave home. And while the parents were unsupervised, Marc's mom does a dad. She does him in the car quickly and efficiently like a tigress.
Well, she's had the
Unprotected
experience
as well.
Yes. Well, no, apparently protected because she does not get the chlamydia.
You know, you can actually. I mean,
True. I don't know if it's
wanna
100% thing.
I don't
but
want to
thought-
perpetuate this, but you can have sex, unprotected sex, with someone who is infected with an STI, and not 100% of the time will you get it. A lot of the time you will get it. Though.
Okay, so as we all just heard, Jessie Klein is advocating for everyone to
Just
have
roll the
unprotected
dice.
sex
Guys,
all the time.
bareback it every
Yeah.
single time.
Raw dog it every single
Raw
time.
dog.
If it is not raw, then you must
doesn't
let it
count.
thaw. Okay?
What's up, Sadie?
Sup, Sadie? Sup,
Yeah,
girl?
that's
Who is named
that is the worst
Sadie
advice ever.
in the world?
There's-
in the world now.
There's one out there.
Yeah, she's waiting for you.
Special.
That barista.
I've been
She's running
Sadie.
right now.
She is a girl for you.
There's a Beatles song.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know their catalog that well.
Oh.
Am I outing myself?
Yeah, you are outing yourself.
In any case, you know,
She's a meter maid.
the following
in the Beatles
morning,
song.
the following morning. Oh, yeah. No. It's lovely Rita meter maid.
Who's Sadie then?
I don't know. This has no bearing on the discussion,
Okay,
Jessie.
sorry.
Okay.
You guys talk. Let me.
So they go, the parents go to breakfast the following morning at Better Cheddar, which has a wonderful brunch menu. You know, even though Marc's mom doesn't really eat, she still goes out to breakfast, which, you know, is the polite thing to do after you have a
Yeah,
little...
it's an activity. It's something to do.
Yeah, you play
Getting
a little
out.
pelvic pinochle. It's a Futurama reference.
It's a technical term, I believe. isn't it?
Technical term for old people sex.
It's just a song called "Sexy Sadie."
Sexy Sadie?
Yeah.
We'll write it together. It'll be in the style of Warren's
that's
Cherry Pie.
That's an
Give it to
actual
Paul
Beatles
Oh, that's
song.
actually a Beatles song?
Yeah.
The Beatles wrote a song with the word sexy in the title.
Yeah. Later.
Okay.
It's John
latter-
Lennon.
We'll see.
Latter Beatles.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Am I right? Right to
Yeah.
Matt Lieberman.
Right. So, you know, while the parents are off at breakfast, you know, Dave gets a call. He thinks it's on his special Ivan phone for banging ladies. Also, the whole apartment smells like
Tuna fish?
like a
Old tuna
3-year-old tuna fish sandwich. Because just to piss his dad off, he put a tuna fish sandwich in the heater in his dad's room, and then is pretending not to notice it just to drive his dad crazy. But
He's
that's gotta,
gaslighting his dad.
yeah, but that's got to be horrible for you too. I like
It's a price you pay.
That's
you know?
monstrous. Like if you're willing to suffer that smell for days on end just to torture someone, you are you're a huge dick.
Yeah, no, the kamikaze move when you take just a hit just to smite one's own enemy.
Yeah. Well, to spite.
That's aggressive.
If it smote him, he would be dead. Let's be clear.
Yeah,
well,
no,
he's not. I mean, he's in bad shape.
Dave did have the joke. What else do you guys have in common? You'll both be dead in 20 years.
Plus, I think Dave's
real light material.
Real light material, Dave.
Yeah.
Plus, Dave's dad does get him back pretty good. The pink eye.
He gets pink eye.
Because he's banging prosts on his pillow.
His son's pillow.
Bringing prosts.
On the
banging
pillow.
prosts. The bad lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans. His
Good
dad
movie,
calls her a pros, and I'm like, it's like so gross, but it's now my favorite term for hookers.
You have to be deep in the game to
call them
that.
prosses.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just a cop term. I don't know.
It could be. I don't know.
In any case, they learn that Dave's dad has chlamydia. He's got the clap. Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Okay.
No good.
So
Bummer.
yeah. So Marc goes home and he kind of like tries to tease it out of his mother without actually saying it.
Yeah.
And then Dave calls him and he's like, "Hey, come outside, bring napkins."
Yeah. God.
Like what?
That is
what
the
an,
worst phone call ever.
Yeah.
What an just an a-hole-ish thing
Just
to
come
do.
outside
what
alone.
on earth do you need these napkins for? And for a second I thought it was to give to his dad to dry the tears, but no, it's just because he's got in and out.
Yeah,
and he
they have
didn't
In-N-Out.
have enough napkins. Probably drinking a Neapolitan shake while his dad weeps over his chlamydia in the car.
You can get a Neapolitan shake?
Oh yeah, it's on secret menu, bro. What? Yeah.
That's like step
That's
one of
like-
the secret menu.
Listen, I'm
Clearly.
gonna come out here. I know nothing about any secret menus. I don't know.
There's really only
It's-
one. They say that there's a Starbucks one, but that's really just BS.
Is that BS or is that the
There's
point?
there's Jamba Juice, but they don't all do it. You have to really walk them through.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Chick-fil-A's got some secret stuff.
Listen, if you
Do they have
to
not chicken?
no,
Do they what?
No,
Do they
it's
have
all
not chicken?
It's all
If
No,
chicken.
they
if
do
you,
not.
oh, okay.
Yeah, but I feel like if you have to walk someone through what is on the secret menu, it's not actually a menu. It's just people getting away with stuff.
Yeah, plus, I mean, this whole buzz about secret menus, it's just asking them to put the ingredients that you know that they have together in a certain way.
So it's just
It's basically just customizing it
Right.
at that point.
well, that's,
Or being picky if
that's
you want to
less-
get down to it.
That's less sexy than a secret menu.
It's
though.
true because you
Yeah.
want to feel like you're getting something that most people don't know about. It's
Yeah,
exclusive.
or that you're, being cool about it as opposed to making them do more work for you.
I just love this revelation is the dad's like, I had sex with that whore. Oh God, I haven't slept with anyone since your mother died.
Well, actually,
Complete
that's
lie.
kind of
The truth, because he
it is
was
the truth.
banging whores.
Maybe we'd have to rewatch it, but maybe he was he was admitting to having sex with a whore, and then when maybe one of them says, "Oh, you had sex with Marc's mom," and then like he realizes like, "Oh, I can make it about her and not me." That's probably what happened on a rewatch.
Yeah. Got to do the rewatch.
Rewatch
podcast. So Marc obviously very distraught by this news that his mother may be the giver of the clap and not the receiver of the clap.
Both bad.
Both bad. One's worse.
Yeah.
One is definitely worse.
Yeah.
She's had it.
So he comes right in. He's not going to mince words. This is what's up. You have this. We're going to go to a place and we're going to take care of it. Okay? Fine. So then Marc and his mother sitting in this waiting room at this just tired little STD place.
It looked quaint.
Look quaint.
It was a quaint STD clinic.
Yeah.
It was
Still no getting out of that awkwardness.
no escape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No room. Any quaintness will allow you to get out of that.
Yeah, what do
awkwardness.
you think it'd be worse if the roles were reversed and they were younger, obviously? A mom taking a kid to the clinic for the same reason?
No, it would not be worse. I mean, she would scold, but it would be less awkward.
and more socially acceptable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
To
know.
have
Fair
a
enough.
mom bring their kid to an STD clinic.
Yeah, I doubt that if it was a 30-something, late 30s mom bringing her teenage son in for an STD test, that the nurse would think that they were banging each other, which is what happens, and it's hilarious. That's why they put it in the promo last week, okay? Keep up, people. Before we continue, I just want to talk really quickly about iTunes. Folks, I want to thank you for listening to this podcast. You're amazing. Downloading, watching, listening, streaming. You can get it wherever you want, whenever you want, on an app, on a device, on your computer, whatever you want to do. It's yours, and it's all free. We here at AfterBuzz TV putting out between 60 and 70 hours of free content a week. If you haven't checked out our other offerings, people, you better check it out because it's got a wide array, almost every show on the air. And if there's a show you want us to do, but you don't see it on there, reach out to us, info@afterbuzztv.com. We'll do our best to get one up for you. But it's a staggering amount of content. What can you do to help us out if you feel so inclined? I'll tell you, rate and review every show that you listen to. It's that easy. Doesn't cost you a dime, only takes a second, warms us to the bone, and it helps us get sponsors, which is how this whole operation works in the first place. So rate and review the shows. We deeply appreciate your support. All right. So Marc in the room grilling Mom about her sexual exploits and finding out the dirty deets. Okay. Now, Dax easily under 40, I'm going to say.
Oh, has to be under 40.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm guessing 35, a peak 35-year-old mixologist.
Yeah, I'm guessing like a 24-year-old.
24-year-old peak mixologist.
Well, I mean, I don't know how many men in their
20s.
Yeah, I would say you'd have to be 35 or younger to identify with the mixologist name.
That's true. That's true.
You know, and
you
to
don't
still
see a
be
38-year-old being a mixologist.
right.
He has more respect.
Which, like, respect to Marc's mom. She's taking home the young taint.
Cougar.
She's slinging
Cougar
mad
up.
game.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she's beyond cougar. She's like a panther. Okay, they're darker and more mysterious.
What's the hierarchy? I know it's Puma first.
Yeah, Puma for 30s.
Yeah.
Puma for
Then-
30s.
Which is the same animal as a cougar.
Interesting.
A mountain lion, puma, and cougar are all the same animal.
Okay, so then we're gonna
What's
say.
I mean, it's the cat family, so they've
Right.
got to be.
So I'm gonna
but
say.
they're specifically the same animal. It's
All right.
like
Oh,
tiger,
interesting.
tiger, and tiger.
So then I would. So then mountain lion would have to come next. So it'd be puma, cougar, mountain lion.
Sure.
Followed by perhaps
Leopard?
a leopard,
Okay.
regal, majestic,
Live in trees.
got spots on them, much like the liver spots on an older person.
Also, the leather print, like walking pants that they would wear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I really think we've nailed this down, and
Nice.
I hope everyone out there appreciates our hard work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right
so,
to @Matt Lieberman.
No, don't write to @Matt Lieberman about that. Or you can. I mean, you know, it's
You
a
should.
free
You
internet.
should.
You can,
Yeah, sure, do
you
whatever
can
you want.
Twitter me or just whatever. So, you know, Marc's distraught to hear all this news, and he goes home with his mother, and she is just pissed at him for being a brat. She, you know, she came out here. Yeah, she gave no notice, but he spent the entire week avoiding her when he could have just had one conversation. And of course, I'm going to sleep with men if I'm lonely and I'm not receiving any attention from anyone. It's nice to be wanted for once in my life, and you obviously don't. So I'm heading out of here. I'm going home. Kyle has a wonderful suggestion for how they can mediate their problems.
Sure.
In his family, they take turns venting, but to cut the tension, while you're venting, you have to do a silly dance or stuff your mouth with marshmallows. Marc, do you have any marshmallows? Get out of here. Go away.
Thus, proving that Kyle grew up at a summer camp.
Yes.
His family is just a bunch of summer camp
I
counselors.
would love to have an episode where we explore Kyle's origin.
Just the backstory.
And we realize that he was raised on a commune somewhere. Like, not even a summer camp.
Just a commune.
Just a commune. And his family is still there. Because, like...
harvesting oranges.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because Marc's... And making hemp bracelets and ponchos and what have you. Because, like, Marc's mom doesn't even remember recommending him. So I have to imagine that this friend of hers isn't high on the list
Yeah.
of friends. So I imagine that she's probably got some crazy offspring.
Yeah. I imagine that he grew up on a commune. That fits.
Yeah, he grew up on a commune, and Marc's podcasts were the one thing that tied him to the world, which is why he has such this inflated sense of importance as Marc's assistant.
Yeah, it makes sense. It all makes sense now.
Yeah, good. Writing staff, if you're paying attention, it's all
Take a
good
cue,
material.
Yeah, graphic novel.
Yeah, a graphic novel. I would buy
It's
it.
free
Yeah, I would
content
too.
right there.
Free content right there. So, you know, I don't know about you guys. Are your parents still together? Your parents still together?
No. My dad passed away when I was 6.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. It's been a while.
Yeah.
My mom got remarried since then, and then got divorced.
Is she dating now?
No, but I mean, if she were to, I mean, obviously there would be some difficulty initially, like details and stuff I wouldn't want to hear about. But I do want her to be happy. So if that's something that she wants, I would support that.
Okay. So if she was dating around and she asked you to drive her to the clinic, how would you feel?
That would be tough. That
Yeah.
would be tough. Again, safety first. I would, but it would be awkward for sure.
Did you have the talk with your mom?
Luckily, I think I don't need to have the talk with my mom.
Smart mom.
Yeah, smart mom.
Okay.
What if your mom was
She's
like
pretty savvy.
What if your mom was like, this is gonna be my new fiance, Dax. He's
God.
he's 2 years younger than you.
We're
Yeah.
trying to get him a green card. He's from he's from the Caribbean.
Swarthy.
He's swarthy.
Yeah.
He constantly smells of coconut oil.
I would probably have to intervene. I think I would.
Yeah. Do kids get a veto?
I don't know. I mean, I think again, it's more like the parent, like where a parent would sort of not approve.
Right.
I feel like the kids sort of have a similar card.
Right.
I mean, if there was an obvious mismatch,
Yeah.
the kids can kind of come together.
I know. I mean, like, I feel like as you get older, right, you think there's not going to be another opportunity. There may never be anyone else, so jump on this ship. I feel like we should be able to establish within our parent-child relationship that we get one veto.
One veto.
One. Only one, which is a precious thing.
Of anything? Like a general veto.
I think it's a dating marriage veto.
Oh, okay.
It's a dating and marriage veto. If it was a general veto, I think it would be too tempting to use it on something smart. I know, general veto. I think it would be too tempting to use it on something small.
Yeah.
Like
We had spaghetti last night.
right, or like please
there's no
take me to
Italian
the
veto.
theater. I really want to see this play that sounds super boring. You don't want to waste your veto.
No,
Yeah, if it's all reaching, all encompassing, you don't want to waste it.
that's true.
Yeah.
But then they kind of bond. Mark and his mom bond over STD chat.
Yeah, which is amazing.
It was really funny.
They have their first real conversation in years as Mark details all the times that he has gotten STDs and given them out. And he talks about this fantasy that he had, which, like, I kept thinking that the cold sores were going to come back. That it was going to be, I have this fantasy that, I'm there with Jen and there's Michelle and her new husband and she sees how happy I am and I look at her and there's a big old cold sore on her mouth and I know that I have won. I thought it was going to come from the place of darkness, but it actually was like a very, tender thing of like, I just wanted to be happy and have someone like her, someone who, thinks I'm such a miserable old cock that she sees how happy I am.
Yeah, and then realizing that that's no longer an option.
Yeah, it really did hit him really hard, this breakup, and all the fighting that he put up at the front of this relationship. You'd think that he didn't love her as much as he did, but he really does.
Yeah, and I think you kind of touched on that. He's not a young man, so like Jen might be his last like chance at a real relationship with someone where it's like we go dating and then we like fool around and it's weird for a little bit. Like as you get older, I feel like your relationships have to advance a little bit, like get a little bit faster.
And I mean, that's why they broke up, because she wanted to advance it even further and he was being a baby about it. Well, the baby thing came up again with Rob Riggle, where he's like, all I'm hearing when you say that is I'm not going to be evolved because I didn't have a kid. I have to have a kid to matter and to be a real adult.
And Rob was like, or just don't be a baby.
Yeah. Or just don't do that.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you guys want to talk
Well,
about?
it's also, I think, how publicly Mark lives his life. I mean, it makes him very unapproachable as a person in a relationship. Not only with, significant others who obviously don't want their dirty laundry aired to everybody, but also with his parents. I mean, it can definitely be a straining relationship with your family, who you obviously don't have the luxury of being able to avoid. They're saying all this stuff, that's personal between you and them, and it can definitely distance you from them. I mean, his parents obviously can't get away from the fact that they're his kid, or he's their kid.
Right.
So when he sort of says all this bad stuff about their relationships, they can't do anything. They just
Right, and he's sharing that with the world.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about the very last moment where it was kind of like a coded language moment where he calls his mom and he knows that she can't answer the phone and he just says, hey. Like that was definitely him just saying like, I love you, Mom. And I like moments with coded language, and I like it that families kind of have a vocabulary. You were talking about like eating, like that kind of thing. My dad, it's basketball.
Yeah.
Or Game of Thrones.
Right.
That's how we say. That's how we say I love you. Is like
I hate Joffrey too, Dad.
Yeah, I hate Joffrey too.
Luckily, he's gone.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Bro, spoilers.
Bro.
Yeah.
That was, well, I guess
It was
it's
2
only-
weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Still,
It's
if you're not
not
up right now.
or
then-
like
2
4
weeks.
weeks ago.
Or-
It's not that long
Or
ago.
12 years ago, if you
There
count.
are
if
the
people-
book.
they've been on the internet since then, it's already been spoiled.
I'm just saying we're gonna get at least one angry email, and it's
Just-
your fault.
Joffrey, what?
It better not be Sadie who's upset.
Oh God. She's gonna be like, now it's all
All
off.
right. On that note, I think we're gonna go into predictions.
Okay.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, Karnak, what do we see?
It looks like a.
You got to do a Johnny Carson impression. You can't not if you're gonna be Karnak.
I'm gonna do an impression of Jon Stewart doing Johnny
All
Carson.
right.
That's someone's joke. I'm sorry I took it from you.
Okay.
No, it looks like Stephanie Allen.
Yeah, from the
Elaine?
UCB.
Yeah, from the old UCB is guesting on it
As a cat lady.
as a cat lady. It looks like Marc is missing a cat. We don't know which one yet.
Yeah. It's like, it's kind of selfish of me just because like I really loved listening about it. There was a few, like 6 months ago, there was this whole thing with this deaf black cat that he found out by his place. And because that's when I started listening, I really want there to be something about Deaf Black Cat because I want to know what happened to Deaf Black Cat.
Sure.
I love
Well, yeah,
Deaf
the
Black
cats thing. Because they're not his cats. I saw him on Conan, and he was talking about how, at least in the first season, they hired a cat wrangler.
Right.
And he basically just came on set and opened up a little crate with a cat in it, dropped it out, and was like,
Here it is.
done, my work's done.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da. So, I mean, obviously not worth the money that they're paying him.
Oh, in the new season, they are actually his cats?
I'm not sure what they did in the new season, but Marc was very unimpressed
With the cat
With the
wrangler.
cat wrangler, yeah.
All right, fair
I think there's no actually wrangling cats.
Well, yeah, you can't really
Exactly.
train cats,
Let's-
which makes Inside Llewyn Davis all the more impressive.
Amazing.
Great cat acting.
Oh, my
There's a
God.
great cat in that movie.
That cat. Better than Garfield?
Better than Garfield.
Better than Garfield.
Better than Lorenzo Music and Bill Murray combined. All right. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight, downloading, watching, listening, streaming. You're all the best. Jessie Klein, where can the people find you?
You can find me at JessKlein1 on Twitter.
All right. And JB?
You can find me at JB_Zimmerman. I also host Riot on Tuesdays on AfterBuzz TV, and coming up this Sunday is our last Silicon Valley show.
Nice.
So tune in.
All right. And you can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman, MattLieberman. You can also find me on SourceFed and SourceFed Nerd on YouTube, and here on AfterBuzz TV. Got Halt and Catch Fire starting this week. Defiance coming back. Under the Dome's coming back. Got Playing House on Tuesdays on USA. It's a wonderful, warm hug of a show. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.